been standing here. It all feels the same, I swear. Done with what it means I can't bear. Tears are falling from the sky, but I'm not worried. I know I will end up dry.
Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Lorena. I am a kindergarten teacher in the state of New Jersey. So if you're anything like me and you didn't plan before break started and you didn't plan during break, now you're kind of like, what am I going to do on Monday? Then this is the video for you. I definitely didn't do a lot of planning during the break and before the break for Monday, so which is why I'm doing it now, and I planned some activities that I want to share with you, so hopefully you'll get some ideas and some inspiration as to some of the things that you can do once we go back to school on Monday. So I wanted the activities that I picked and that I planned to be simple yet meaningful. A lot of my thinking and my planning has been inspired by Teaching with No Frills. Her Instagram account kind of makes you really think about the meaningfulness of the activities that you are doing with your students, especially if you're delivering instruction virtually as I am. So I wanted to make sure that these activities were purposeful, meaningful, easy for the kids to kind of get the materials that they needed, easy for myself to kind of do with or without a lot of technology, because as we know, there are many times that we have technical issues. So these activities, I kept that in mind. I kind of thought, all right, well, if my present mode is lagging, what can I do? So, and you'll see that once I show you what they are. So as many of you know, I do teach virtually, and I don't know when we'll be back, if we'll be back to in-person learning, so that's why I'm planning the way that I am planning. I meet with my kiddos about 5 to 6 times live every day, and then they do have an independent work time where we are off screen. I use that time to kind of plan for additional things or go to meetings and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through kind of my entire week with my kiddos, what I'm going to be doing on Monday during my live meetings, what I'm going to be doing on Tuesday. And I'm not going to show you or talk about really what we do during morning meetings because it's pretty simple. I showed it in my last video or the one before that. Morning meeting is pretty much just our greeting, calendar time, some math skills, and then we ended off with journal. Now my more instructional time is from 9:30 to 10, which I focus on literacy, and then we take an hour-long break where they work independently on any assignments posted on Google Classroom. Then we come back from 11 to 11:30 for math instruction. Then they go off to their specials. After specials, they come back, well, some of them come back for small group, and we do small group. Then they have like kind of like a rest / break, and then we come back for our end of the day goodbye. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing during my major kind of live instruction blocks. During my literacy block on Monday, we are going to be doing, and I'm keep looking down because I have my planner here. As you can see, very basic. So what we're doing on Monday is we're going to be doing Turn and Learn, which as you can see right here, is a YouTube channel that has these great things that my kids they're kind of just like waiting to see what's gonna turn when the tiles turn. So we're just gonna watch that quick video. Then we're going to be making the letter O with Play-Doh. As you can see here, it's very simple. I have them make a straight line across on the bottom. That way there are 2 separate spaces. On the top, they're going to write the letter O with, on the top they're going to be writing the letter O, and then they're going to be making it with Play-Doh. And on the bottom, they're going to be writing and practicing their handwriting skills. So again, that is a very simple, easy thing to kind of get you guys started on a Monday. Kids love Play-Doh. They probably haven't used Play-Doh during the break because they've been, you know, busy with their families. So kind of bringing back the Play-Doh, the funness of it will be exciting for them. Now what we're going to be doing for math is something that I've done before, which is music and numbers. Now what I do is I just put some music on, and then they write the numbers from 1 through 20 for X amount of time, and whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is that your kiddos need, kind of like give them that time to just practice their handwriting and, you know, their number formation. And I think it just kind of settles them down before you do any other activity. So after they do that, we're going to move on to another activity since it is a 30-minute block period. So I actually saw this from Teaching with No Frills, and she did a number hunt. Now I'm going to do a shape hunt, kind of just to change things up a little bit. And the kids are going to be going on a shape hunt, which is something that they absolutely love. So as you can see here, this is going to infuse writing, literacy, and all that fun stuff, because we're going to create the list together of the objects that they're going to find. Now, as you can see on this list, everything is being spelled phonetically, which means that it is not spelled quote unquote correctly. Some we're going to kind of sound out the words. This is going to take some time, which is great because the hunts usually go by rather quickly. So we are focusing on here on kind of the phonics of list writing. So after we kind of write everything down, we're going to go ahead and go on our hunt. And we're going to, practice checking things off of our list. We're going to go find something that is circular shape. They're going to bring it back, show me, and then check it off their list. So this gets them up, moving, and super engaged. And again, very low prep, easy. And now, I do have my small group, and my small groups on Monday, it's usually my higher group. So what I'm going to be doing with them is practicing CVC words, and I'm going to be doing it with Play-Doh and a dry erase board. So we're going to be practicing short O words. So as you can see here, we're going to be writing, I'm going to give them a word to write that has the short O vowel in the middle, and then they're going to be smashing each sound with Play-Doh and their finger. Alright, so that's pretty much what Monday is going to look like. Very simple things. We're keeping it simple because again, we're getting back into the routine of virtual learning. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get started with Tuesday. So the new letter of the week is O. So we're going to be using watercolor, which is my favorite and their favorite. And we're going to be creating something that begins with the letter O. So I'm going to have them kind of bring out a white sheet of paper, and they're going to be writing some words, a sentence, and it's going to say O is for. Now is our new word of the week, so I am combining our letter of the week and our new sight word, which will help them make that connection. And they're going to draw something that begins with the letter O. Now you can do this with any letter that you are doing for the week, whether it's the letter Z, the letter P. It's something that they can do collectively, and something that is meaningful and easy. So you may have students who kind of struggle with figuring out what things begin with the letter O. So just make sure to provide them with maybe a list of things that begin with the letter O. Of course, before starting the project, I am going to be showing them kind of flashcards, and this is from our reading series Treasures. These are just some cards that kind of help give them that inspiration of what they can draw that begins with the letter O. And then these are some letter shapes that I have purchased on TPT, which I will link below, which we also go over. All right, so in kindergarten, I am going to be introducing addition. Woo! I don't know if it's exciting or sad because it's just so crazy how we've come to the point of addition and we're still learning virtually. It's crazy. But anyways, I'm going to be introducing addition to my kiddos. Now, I wanted to do it in a way that was engaging for them and that they were like, wow. So what I thought of was using their pictures to introduce addition. I'm using Jamboard as a whiteboard. Now you can also do this on Google Slides, but the reason why I wanted to do it on Jamboard was because I wanted to annotate in real time and for them to be able to see that. So as you can see here, what I did was I pretty much just grabbed their pictures and I just added different objects to them. So I would say, so-and-so has 3 pizzas. And then on the next slide, I would say, so-and-so has 4 pizzas. And then on the third slide, it's gonna kind of come all together and we can say how many slices of pizza do they have all together, in all. So it's kind of introducing the whole vocabulary that has to do with addition, and then they're going to be so excited to see their cute little faces on the screen. Today, a small group, what I'm going to be doing with my kiddos is a sing, talk, and rhyme poem. It comes with our reading series. I'm just going to present a poem to them, and I'm going to put it on Jamboard, and then they're going to interact live with me, and we're going to be searching for the letter O, and the word is on this poem. So they'll be able to, once I send the link to them, they'll be able to kind of jump on into this Jamboard and go ahead and circle what they see that begins with the letter O and find the sight word is. So for Wednesday, we're going to be doing kind of like a little letter scavenger hunt. I purchased some initial letter sound mats on TPT, and typically when we are in the classroom, I print out the set of letters, and the kids are using either marbles or like the flat marbles or any sort of manipulative to cover the pictures that correspond with the letter in the middle. However, we can do that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present this initial sound mat, and they're going to create magnifying glasses to help find these words. I usually always say help me find it, but I think that if they have something tangible in their hands, it'll be a bit more engaging. So we're going to start off the math lesson, and we're going to just start creating a magnifying glass. So they're going to draw their magnifying glass, color it, and cut it. Then I'm going to go ahead and present my screen to them with the initial sound mat, and then I'm going to have them search for things that begin with the letter A. I'm going to, encourage them, use your magnifying glass. What do you see? Can you tell me what you see that begins with the letter O? And you know, we'll go back and forth for a few times, and I think it'll be a very engaging activity. Now, I do expect that this activity will kind of finish before the end of the block, so what we'll do afterwards, we will do a letter map of things that they remember that begins with the letter O. They'll see me kind of draw it out. They can also draw it out on their own if they'd like to. And for math, on Wednesday, I'm going to be boring, and we're going to work on our math book. I think it has a great representation of putting things together. Blank and blank is. So we're just gonna do that for Wednesday, keep it simple, and that's pretty much it for Wednesday. So for Wednesday small group, we're going to be practicing basic letters, ID and letter sounds. We're just gonna kind of do repetition on that. I'm going to have them write some letters on their dry erase boards, and then they're going to erase the letters that I'm asking them for. And I saw this from Teaching with No Frills, so if you don't follow her because she has amazing ideas of what to do. So pretty much what she kind of said was that you'll have the students write different letters on their boards, and if you say find the letter S, then they'll go ahead and use their finger, erase the letter S, and I always make sure to tell them to erase it following the formation, not just, you know, erasing it from left to right, but following the formation of the letter. All right, so now for Thursday, it's kind of crazy how this goes by so fast, but we're going to work with our literacy math, which we haven't really used as much as I thought we would, but I'm going to start doing that. So what I'm going to be following for this is the I do, we do, you do model, which at first I'm going to read a sentence with them, probably 1 or 2 sentences, focusing on pointing to the words that I'm reading and identifying my sight words and making sure that my sentence makes sense. Then we're going to do a we do, where I'm going to have them read it with me, tell me what do they see, fill in the blank, and then at the end they're going to do a you do. So I'm going to show them a picture of an animal that is of a significant color. So for example, if I show them a picture of a bird, they would write the bird is red. And we're also going to be, well, I'm going to be introducing our checklist here. And we're gonna kind of go over all of those things. So again, we're practicing writing in a more formal manner, but it's still engaging because again, anything that's new, that's like a novelty to them, they're just gonna be like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. All right, so for Thursday, what we're going to be doing is shake and spill. This is a classic, this is a staple in most elementary grades. And you can do it for so many things, but we're gonna stick to addition for kindergarten, and where I'm gonna show them how many counters I have. And we're gonna go ahead and complete this math sentence that's on the bottom, which is blank and blank is blank. So they're gonna be telling me how many red counters I have, how many yellow, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill it in. So the first part of it is them watching me. The second part is also gonna be similar to this, but I'm going to have them, there's my pup. I am going to have them fold a sheet of paper into 6 quadrants, just like this. Just like this. You can make it 4 depending on how much time you have. And I'm going to be shaking and spilling on my screen. Now the great thing about this is that you do not need a document camera, because if you just kind of lower your camera down your laptop, you can kind of just show them what's on your mat and they can see it, and they're going to represent that on their own sheet of paper. So for example, if you have 5 counters, if you have 3 red and 2 yellow, they can go ahead and represent that on their sheet of paper. Now, what I would do is then for 5 and 6, this would be their independent work time. So I would say, okay, we're gonna take this time now, and now you're going to do it on your own. So go ahead and get your counters, shake your counters, spill them, and tell me, show me how many counters you had that were red and how many were yellow. And for my small group on Thursday, these are my lower learners. So what we'll be doing is just some basic name practice. We're gonna be practicing writing our names on our whiteboards, and that's pretty much it. With all of my small groups throughout the week, we do a guided reading, and I grab that from Reading A to Z. So if you do have a subscription to that, they do have a projectable version, which is what I use with my students, and we just read through the story together, and we just use that as our guided reading book. I also encourage them to point to the words. I tell them, I can see if you're pointing or not. So always, encourage that, because they are missing, at least, virtual learners, some of them are missing that the whole kinesthetic aspect when it comes to reading, which is, pointing to a physical book when they're reading the words, not just like seeing the screen. So I do tell them to make sure that they're touching the screen, reading the words with me when I share my screen. So on Friday, what we'll be doing is we'll be reading a classic story, which is The Snowy Day, which is perfect considering the season that we're in. So there are two options. You can obviously read the story to them, but Amazon also has this story. So if you have Amazon Prime, they have this story available as like a short video, a short movie. What you can have them do is answer any questions that you may have using their dry erase board. So they can answer your questions through drawings or words. If you have students who are kind of at that level where they can freely write and express themselves, go ahead. But you can ask prompt questions like show me who the main characters are, and they can draw the main characters. What season did the story take place in? And they can maybe draw the snow. You know, you can ask them higher order thinking questions. What would you do in the snow? And they can go ahead and show you that through a picture or through a sentence that they write on their dry erase board. Lastly, for math, what we'll be doing is a snowman roll and draw. I did do a Christmas tree roll and draw, and I used Jamboard for that. And I'm going to show you right here how I'm doing it here. And as you can see, what I pretty much did was I just took a piece of a TPT one that I found for free. I clipped it on here, and then on the bottom I just took some PNG images of dice, and from 1 to 6 I covered it up with a shape. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be randomly moving the shape away, and then that'll tell me what to draw, and it'll tell the kiddos what to draw. Now I'm gonna be drawing it directly on Jamboard because since that's the screen that they're already seeing, I don't want them to have to look at two screens to see what they have to do. So if you do use Jamboard kind of like as a whiteboard, this is definitely an option for you as well. Now, something you can do for science that's fun and simple, and it has household ingredients that are easy to find, is making snow using baking soda and hair conditioner. So I'm going to leave the link below with the recipe, and this is something that maybe you can have your students do during independent work time, or if you're fortunate enough to have all of your kiddos have the supplies that they need, you can do it as a whole group. And it's perfect, especially if you're going to be reading The Snowy Day. It would be the perfect kind of culminating activity for the whole thing. So that's it for this week's video. I do hope that you're able to take some ideas and that you're not scrambling. It's gonna be okay. I hope that some of these ideas are ones that you can kind of plan into your week next week. So with that being said, I will see you guys soon. Stay safe, Happy New Year, and happy learning. Bye guys.
Let's just wait, enjoy the view. What if our touch isn't enough on our journey? How about you? How about
Now, for math, when I'm doing with my kiddos, and I've done this for Christmas, it's kind of just writing the numbers 1 through 10, focusing on kind of like the letters. We are going to go on to another activity for math because we have a third